don't think gender has ever limited my career progression, but I think that my reflection perhaps too through my career is that for many years, and I would say probably decades, I was very aware that I was paid less than men at the same level that I was at. And actually that spurred me on.
You know, gender is interesting because I don't think it's ever limited my career progression. I think that, however, I will say that I think that over my career I have experienced gender bias, more from an unconscious perspective, not from a conscious perspective, and had to really fight through those challenges, especially upon having children and coming back into the office and comments made, oh my God, where's the baby? And it's like, well, baby's fine, I'm back.
I don't think gender itself has limited my career progression. Saying that though, I think I've had to really prove myself in organisations, and so I've been recognised for that. I do think though that culture and gender bias has limited opportunities for people who are looking for roles. And so we have a long way to go, I think, in Australia for that. I'm very fortunate though to have had really strong male and female advocates in my career, and so I'll always use that as a lesson to do the same for others.
I've never felt like my career was limited by my gender. Having said that, there's been times when I thought that I was at risk of being overlooked or underpaid, and I made sure I spoke up and made my case. And I'm lucky that I've had great bosses who listened and advocated on my behalf. But I've spoken up to make sure that I wasn't at risk of being discriminated against.
First thing that has been challenging for me has probably been the experience of the last 2 years in terms of the challenges that Westpac went through in dealing with the AML issues that we had, really requiring me to be incredibly resilient and courageous in tackling those.
Balancing work and motherhood has always been my biggest challenge. Before I had kids, I used to work really long hours, and I always assumed that when I had my first child, I'd quit work and be a full-time mum, because I didn't see how I could balance a demanding career in banking with motherhood and be the type of mother I wanted to be. But then, my first child, Elsie, came around, and I was really lucky. I had a great boss who really encouraged me to come back part-time. So I thought I'd give it a try 3 days a week. And once I was back, I realised that, I still had a lot of value to add, even though I was only working 3 days, not the previous 7. I still had a lot to contribute. And I found that through prioritisation and just being super efficient, which most working parents have to be, I still felt like a valued employee and had a lot to contribute.
It's probably was last year where I stepped into the group CFO role at Qantas 4 months before COVID hit, which clearly was a massive challenge for us at Qantas when you thought about it, or just to simply outline what happened. In the spate of 10 days, we had and could see that we were going to lose all of our forward revenue, which on an annual basis is $18 billion. Plus also we had a cost base that wasn't going to reduce quickly as the revenue did. How I faced into that challenge was actually to really trust in your instinct. When you're dealing with that speed of impact that we were facing, you didn't have too much time to think. You needed to act. And you needed to as well recognise that you couldn't act alone. So I think the focus was how did we align, set the right objectives, set simple objectives that everyone understood, and created a time frame to act against, and made sure that everyone in the organisation and also from the board level were aligned in terms of what we needed to do. And I think when you actually have that clarity, have that focus, it's really quite amazing what you can achieve in a very small amount of time.
The biggest career challenge I confronted would be when I tried to re-establish myself back in Australia, having lived and worked overseas for 15 years. I really overcame that by learning pretty quickly that I had to take a sideward step in my career before landing in what I considered to be an ideal role.